It is the final day of the Laliga season, and although the title is decided, this is a crucial day for a number of clubs in terms of Champions League, Europa League and relegation places. We're off to the Bernabeu later, but right now we're at the Camp Nou to see the champions Barcelona in action against Deportivo, one of the sides in real danger of going down. And it's live right here on Sky Sports 5. Gaizka Mendieta and Guillaume Balaguer are with me. And Gaizka, Barcelona unbeaten in the last 13 league games, winning 12. They've not conceded a goal in the last 6 in the league. That's not even thinking about the front three of Messi, Suarez and Neymar, 115 goals between them, although Luis Suarez isn't playing today. Just how did Deportivo go about getting a positive result here?
It's not easy, especially at the Nou Camp, with Messi and Neymar on the field, Xavi as well with his last game. It's going to be a side that, although massive, Bartra, first game for Vermaelen, it's going to be motivated because they know, the final is there. It's about being consistent. It's about mental training, if you want. Luis Enrique is not going to be able or let them have a little seconds or few seconds of relaxation at all. And I can see this Barca being competitive regardless the players are on the pitch. And like I said, although the difference between the guys that have been playing regularly in the team today, it's going to be very, very difficult for Deportivo to grab something today.
Just one win in 15 for Dep, although that was last week, Guillaume. How much of a boost will that win have been coming into this game?
It meant that what they were doing, it came out right at the right time as well. And they got a big hope that they could come up with something here. They strengthened the midfield. They are working hard at the ball. I think those players that weren't there mentally committed, they've been out. And you've got a strong team that feels that the homage to Xavi could affect Barcelona. I remember last homage that Barcelona did to somebody like Pep Guardiola. They beat Espanyol 4-0. Wasn't it 4 goals by Messi or something? I forgot.
Didn't affect Messi, clearly. 9 changes Luis Enrique makes. It is a debut for Thomas Vermaelen. How big a milestone is that for him, getting fit again?
It is, because I'm sure it's been a very difficult season for him. Going to Barca, new signing, obviously being someone that would have been one of the first choices for Luis Enrique during the season with the rotations. And being injured the whole season as a player, we don't know, it's probably the worst things that can happen to you. So happy for him that this is, the end, hopefully, of the tunnel, and from now I start to build up and thinking of the next season. It's obviously a big game because I haven't played any competitions minutes at all, but it's a good start for him.
Guard of honour there from Deportivo La Coruña, not just probably because they're champions, but also to Xavi in particular. What a player he has been down the years. As for Vermaelen, it's been a long road to recover, isn't it? They've tried to treat him well, but he's had his setbacks.
Yeah, they tried a conservative approach, no operation. They realised that he wasn't getting anywhere, so they operated, because this muscular problem, started at Arsenal. For 2 years he wasn't playing regularly. So they hope that he's a signing for next season. Remember, they won't be able to sign until January. And this could be the beginning of something for him.
What do you expect from Barcelona today, Gaizka? And also, who are the youngsters perhaps to look out for?
Well, Barca, like I said earlier, I expect the same. With Luis Enrique, there's no changes in terms of performance and in terms of commitment, thinking ahead of the finals and actually this game on its own, because that's Luis Enrique. And they're going to play in the same way. They're going to have to press the high and get the ball high in the tempo. And Messi as well and Neymar would like to score goals. Pedro would like to score goals as well and be fit in case anything happens with Luis Suarez. We'll see. Sergio Roberto is a big game for him. Rafinha, like the MSN, if Barca can sign these youngsters, are going to be the players for the next season. And they've seen this season that Luis Enrique rotates the players, and there are going to be options for them, and they have to perform.
It's still a strong side from Barcelona, but if Depor were to get a draw or a win, would there be any ramifications, any implications about Barca playing a weakened side today?
It's interesting because that debate is happening in the Premier League, isn't it? With Chelsea, for instance, and recently even West Ham. But not so much. I think everybody admits this is a day to celebrate for Barcelona, obviously because they won the title, but because of Xavi. I don't think there'll be much of a debate. It does happen sometimes.
Celebration at the Camp Nou, but will it be a game that condemns Depor to the Segunda? Your commentary team, Rob Palmer and Jerry Armstrong.
The referee there was a stickler for kicking the game off on time as Xavi was actually sending the mascots to the touchline. You can look at it as a party for the great Xavi as he plays his last game in La Liga for Barcelona. Will it be a wake for Deportivo La Coruña, the team who were champions a decade and a half ago? As you can see from the way they've set up, they are desperate to stay in the top flight. It's needs must. They're 2 points above Eibar at the bottom of the table. Barcelona, as I'm sure you know now, are the champions. And they have made 9 changes from last week's game against Atletico Madrid. A couple of debuts as well. Long awaited for Thomas Vermaelen, and in goal they give a debut to Jordi Nassi, who has played in the Cup. This is his first taste of La Liga action. Jerry Armstrong promises to be a breathless evening.
Well, for a start, Vermaelen playing at left back is something in itself. To make your debut in the last season, it's a bit surprising, but it's a great season so far for Barcelona, but they've got the treble in their mind. And I don't know what sort of attitude they're going to go into this game, thinking about the cup final next week as well, Rob, which is the second part of the treble. The league's in the bag, and they've had a fantastic season, and it's still always all about the front three. But no Suarez tonight. Pedro's in again.
I'm sure that everybody gets a taste of the glory after taking the title for the 23rd time last week against Atletico Madrid. Look around this team and there's hardly a weakness there, is that Pedro, Messi and Neymar the strike force.
Well, I'll have to mention as well, Xavi finishing his career here, and what a career he's...
2 cup finals left against Athletic Bilbao in the Copa del Rey, and as you're very well aware, Barcelona in their 8th Champions League final will be his final farewell as he heads off to Doha to complete his footballing education. There's a man who's been introduced to the supporters tonight, the former Arsenal centre-half, Thomas Vermaelen. Over a year since he's played club football, that was for Arsenal.
I was going to say, he's waited a long time for his debut, hasn't he? But that's the unfortunate side of football when you get injuries, you know, and he's not been fortunate getting so many injuries this season, all at the wrong time, but good to see him playing here tonight.
As Perez squeezes the first corner of the evening out of Barcelona. It's a celebration for Barcelona, but it really is all hands to the pump for Deportivo La Coruña, the representatives of Galicia in top flight football. They were one of the moneyed clubs when we started our coverage of the Primera division a couple of decades ago. Champions in 2000. The last 4 years they've been a yo-yo club, up and down. 50-odd permutations tonight at the top of the table. They can't afford to lose here. That's Vermaelen who's leading the charge. Pedro's at the far post, stretching is Fabricio, comes out to Rafinha, who dances with defenders, flips it in. Another one for Messi.
As Rakitic and Busquets look on, that's class, Rob. And you know, I was just going to praise the young goalkeeper Fabricio, whose quality, I think he's made the decision to come out and get a touch on the ball. Otherwise Pedro would have scored at the far post. But then Rafinha, great skill and technique, goes past the defender and dinks one to the far post for the little man to come in and score. Wonderful stuff.
Lionel Messi taking it in his stride. 55 goals for the season, but maybe his mission is to catch up with Cristiano Ronaldo, who is 4 goals ahead of him in the chase for the Golden Boot. The Pichichi top scorer in Spain.
You thought they'd got away with it when Fabricio made that great save, but clever skills, lovely right foot cross, and Messi on the end of it. Another season with over 50 goals for Lionel Messi. You know, they just keep, he and Ronaldo keep moving the crossbar higher and higher.
Well, they'll be scoring 100 goals a season if the crossbar moved any higher. And it can. We will be keeping up to date with the action in the other games at the bottom end of La Liga. It's Survival Sunday in the Premier Division in England. It's Survival Saturday in Spain. It's very rare that they all kick off at the same time. The games that have something riding on them. This is the only game so far which has had a goal. Granada are at home against Atletico Madrid. Granada just ahead of Deportivo La Coruña in the standings. The 2 teams below them, 2 points behind them, are Eibar and Almeria.
Well, the big one I would suggest is Almeria against Valencia in You know, they're only 1 point behind them, and that's a massive game as well.
We'll keep you updated on all of the goals, and indeed we have had a goal already. You know that Cordoba are already relegated. They're playing at tiny Eibar. The ground holds for less than 5,000, but they have scored with just 5 minutes gone. Barcelona has scored for the Cinderella club of La Liga. That would put them on to 35 points, and they would be ahead of Deportivo La Coruña in the standings. There'll be a lot of people texting today, and not just to check out their looks, but they'll be checking to see how they stand. Of course, Cordoba are down, so the other relegated teams at this moment in time would be Deportivo and Almeria. Almeria are at home against Valencia. Valencia need a better result than Sevilla to take the 4th Champions League spot.
Well, we know from previous years that the table's never going to stay the same. It changes quite a bit, and I'm sure it'll change again. As Deportivo get a free kick on the right-hand side, they're fouled by Mathieu. This is clever play. Absolutely super little ball to the far post from Rafinha with his right foot, and there's Messi to hammer the ball into his head. I don't know if there's anything that Messi can't do. He can dribble, he can score with either foot, he can score with his head, he makes goals, and he plays with a smile on his face.
Here is Neymar. Deportivo La Coruña have a dreadful record at the Camp Nou. They've only won 3 times here in 42 visits, and they've had some hammerings as well. There was a 7-0 back in the 50s, a couple of 6-1s when they met earlier in the season in La Coruña. Messi scored a hat-trick in a 4-0 success. They have their problems as well. They have a weakened team, but unlike Barcelona, not by choice. Luisinho is suspended. Farina has a hip problem. Luisinho lost his appeal to play in the game. Fran wanted to play, but the doctors have said he can't because of a hand injury. Manuel Plabra, the oldest man to play in La Liga this season, his body is not up to it. Adriano to the waiting Neymar. Neymar's back heel. Mathieu, he's levelling in that role on the left side of defence.
Yeah, he's got forward quite a bit. It looks like he and Vermaelen have swapped places, and Mathieu likes to get forward. That's the goal again. You're not going to get tired watching that. It's just class. And there's Rakitic and co applauding.
Well, we have another goal to bring it. All the games kicked off at the same time, so this should be within the first 10 minutes of the game. Almeria, who are fighting against relegation, are looking good. Thomas sneaking one in between the goalkeeper and post. So Almeria are also staging a last day fight back. And it's very rare that you say Diego Alves throw one in like that, Jerry.
Wow. He looks like he's got a hand to it, but he couldn't keep it out. Did he see it late?
There's a confidence-building catching for Messi, who has been the B-team keeper, one of 3 keepers used by Barcelona this season. So Jerry was right. It was about 45 seconds ago you did promise us, Jerry, that that would be an ever-moving La Liga table. 10 minutes gone around the country, and Granada and Deportivo La Coruña are joining Cordoba in the 2nd division as it stands.
It's nerve-wracking for the fans, but it's fantastic for us.
And there we go at the top of the table. Well, Valencia, their chance of taking 4th place has been harmed. They're still on the same number of points of Sevilla, and of course that will go down to the head-to-head games between the 2 clubs. Sevilla have a tough game. They're playing at Malaga in an Andalusian derby. Malaga are on 50 points. They are after the 7th place in La Liga, which carries a Europa Liga spot for next season. And they're 2 points behind Athletic Bilbao. We'll guide you through it. Soccer Saturday Spanish style.
Certainly is. Well, everybody behind the ball for Deportivo, and we knew from the start that Barcelona would dominate possession, and obviously Deportivo try and hit them on the break.
There's Adriano. Step over from Adriano, and that was a shot from the Brazilian. Right, we've got another goal to bring in.
Wow.
Ever changing at the bottom of the table. Eibar, you may remember, took the lead a couple of seconds ago. And this is the second goal. Raul Navas coming up from the back. And all he can see through those imaginary spectacles is life in La Liga next season.
Well, you have to say, with Cordoba already relegated, Rob, I can't see Eibar losing that game now. So the others have to look over their shoulder. The likes of Granada, Almeria and Deportivo will all have to look over their shoulder.
Eibar lifting themselves out of the relegation zone with those 2 early goals. A club, of course, who wrote a footballing fairy tale up in the Basque territory. At the smallest of grounds holds just over 5,000. All of the players had to live in the area, and they had a second half of the season collapse. They're coming good right at the end. It will be popular amongst many neutrals and the romantics in football if they did stay amongst the elite. There's Neymar digging in for Barcelona. There were some suggestions that Barcelona may be on the beach. Well, he's on the beach, but I think it's Copacabana beach, Neymar, with tricks like that.
That's showtime, isn't it? That's class.
Spray season in the house. Barca supporters basking in the sunshine. Messi looking for his second. He puts it in. It's a stroll in the park for the great Lionel Messi.
Timing of the run's absolutely superb, Rob. He's onside. The pass is superb. And have a look at his first touch when the pass is made. Absolutely superb, the run. He's not offside. The right back is playing him onside, and as Neymar checks, well, he's in here on this lovely little bit of skill. Let's see. Was it the Turkish slipper? But 56 goals for Lionel Messi. Was he given offside? It looks like he's given him offside. I thought he was onside, Rob. I'd like to see that one again at half-time.
Well, you said he was perfectly onside,
He
Jerry.
was. The right back was the one who played him onside for me. Laurie was a little bit deeper than everyone else.
Deportivo La Coruña in desperate need of a lifeline. Well, it did look like a perfect goal for Lionel Messi, but not one that's going to go down in the record book that is constantly being rewritten by the wee man. Here's the record man, Xavi, striking the ball to Matthew. In comes Messi. If that had got in, there would have been any doubts about that one.
We'll see this bit of skill again.
One of those testimonial games of years gone by where the players from the top leagues would go down to the lower leagues and show off their skills, a bit of showboating, a bit of showcasing. The players of Barcelona have had a few days off to recuperate this week. They didn't return to training until Thursday. So they spent time with the families. Some of PK headed off to Marrakesh. Looks like Neymar's been practicing his skills.
Do you think he needs to?
Oh, there's always a new trick.
Yeah, not with that ability. I suppose the pressure's off, though, but they will want to win in front of their home fans. But they'll want to entertain also. That's part of the culture with Barcelona. It's not just winning, it's winning in style. It's scoring more than the opposition.
There's Pedro to Rafinha. Much to play through the legs of Lopo. Messi Half stopped. Oh, brilliantly stopped. He's keeping them in the top flight at the moment, Fabricio, the goalkeeper.
He's a top-class keeper, I tell you, Rob. 2 fabulous saves in succession. The first one from Messi, he got down, he made the save, it came out to Pedro. Have a look at this. Super pass, Messi strikes it cleanly. Brilliant save that, and then the double save with the right hand. That is top drawer.
As Barcelona have fun in the sun, Deportivo really are sweating here. It's Messi.
There's the first. Now that's a great save in itself, Rob, but look at this. Pure reflexes, gets the right hand up. Pedro must have thought it's a tapping, but no. Fabricio is different class. That's brilliant.
Lionel Messi, setting all kinds of records. He's actually assisted in 18 goals this season. And it's remarkable. It's the first time ever that he's been an ever-present in La Liga. This will be his 58th game in a row in the Spanish First Division. As other players are rotated in and out by Luis Enrique, Messi is a constant menace.
Constant threat, a constant menace, a constant delight if you're watching him and enjoy your football.
Something about the approach here from Victor Sanchez, the coach of Deportivo La Coruña. It seems to be very safety first. Adriano plays it across, back to Messi. Messi tries to head off to Xavi. I think we're going to see a lot of that tonight, trying to get Xavi on the score sheet. Here's Adriano. Leaves it to Rafinha, and then decides to be a little bit greedy.
Well, super football, though, from Barcelona. And just when you thought Deportivo had thwarted them to stop Messi getting the shot in, they give the ball away. Clever skills from Rafinha. He's fouled. The referee, Clos Gomez, gives the advantage. And Adriano can't take advantage of it. But it's what we expected, Rob. Certainly coming up to 20 minutes, all Barcelona. They're 1-0 up. I think they should be 2-0 up. Well, look at that one that was disallowed from Messi at half-time. But I did think Lore, the right back, played him onside.
And Dominguez will come out of their defensive shell here. Deportivo La Coruña. Caballero looking for the overlapping run of Lowry. Barcelona, of course, haven't conceded in the last 6 matches in La Liga. He needs to come up with quite a cunning plan. Victor Sanchez. Neymar in the full-back position. Does it his own style. Caballero. Gets it back, Caballero. Shooting opportunity, passes the ball on. Who's willing to take responsibility for the Galician side? You can see their problems lie when their leading scorer in the team is Lucas Perez with 5 goals this season.
No, that's one of the problems. If you don't score goals, you're not going to win games.
But defensively, they haven't been that bad, Depor. They have the 7th best defence in La Liga, including 12 clean sheets. The problem is they failed to score on 15 occasions. They need to score. They can't make it 16 blanks if they're going to stay around.
Well, many years ago when it was 2 points for a win and 1 point for the draw, they made decisions so that encouraged teams to go out and score goals and made it 3 points for the win. And you know, it's better winning 4, 5, 6 games than drawing 12 or 13. Points advantage makes a huge difference, and that's where Deportivo has fallen foul this season. Not scoring enough goals, not winning enough games.
Xavi.
Good ball.
Looking for Pedro.
I like the young goalkeeper, though, Rob Fabricio. I think he's class. It'd be disappointing if he was relegated with Deportivo. But the table, as it stands at the moment, they're in trouble.
Pedro's a player who has been rumoured to be ready to leave Barcelona in the summer. We haven't heard a great deal from him about that. A lot of people putting 2 and 2 together, but World Cup winner, Euro winner, a man who's got every medal going. Where do you go after Barcelona? You can get more playing time, but generally it's going to be inferior. Put away by Vermaelen. Messi doesn't get this. Is Caballero. Space for Salomao. Matthews gets in the way. Here's Sergio Roberto. And Neymar. Takes a look around. Roberto makes the run down the right. It's Messi. Now Rafinha.
Great ball.
I suppose you can try that kind of thing when there's no pressure on. David Moyes is having a good final day to the season. Real Sociedad are leading against Rayo Vallecano. Remember when he took over, they were in the relegation zone and things were looking desperate in San Sebastian, but a nice, safe, mid-table finish, and something for David Moyes to build upon next season if the promises that were made to him are kept.
Yeah, and also this is their second away win, and they've struggled. That's their problem this season. They've struggled to win away from home. They're solid at the back, but to win at Rayo Vallecano would be a fabulous result to end the season on for David Moyes and Real Sociedad.
It's Chori Castro that scored the second goal for Real Sociedad. Here is Mathieu. Xavi. Rafinha bustled off the ball by Canella. Balls for Adriano. Adriano cuts it across the 6. 8 players back protecting the goalkeeper.
They can't afford to concede a second, Rob, because that would bury them, I think, totally.
Messi. Neymar. He's having an absolute ball, isn't he? Well, entertaining the masses.
It doesn't matter what way it falls to him. He's got all the skills and tricks and techniques to make something out of nothing. Bicycle kick with his back to goal and on target, but it's going to have to be good to beat Fabricio.
Xavi was asked this week in his farewell press conference if there's anything he hadn't achieved at Barcelona, and he said he had 2 things. He took a deep breath and said, "I've never scored a hat-trick, and I've never managed to score with a bicycle kick." Adriano. So the discussion before the game was whether it's a weakened Barcelona team, and if it's fair. But you show me the weakness in this starting 11 today. Pedro skies the ball. Sydney only half clears. Deport just have had no possession so far.
That's the problem when you play Barcelona. They're so good at keeping the ball. Their technique, their skills, their passing, and they frustrate the opposition. They wear them down, and as you said, Rob, it's a 4-5-1. Everybody back on their own third.
Messi. Rafinha to Adriano. See the quality of the club when Adriano is one of the fringe players. A bit of illness before the start of the season, a bit of a health scare. They've got him back into the team. This is only his 10th start of the season. But he's been a lucky omen, the Brazilian. They've won every single game where he's played, outscoring the opposition by 30 goals to 1. Xavi. Mathieu. Reveling in the space and playing down the left side for Barcelona. Xavi rolling the ball to Bartra. They've had 18 different scorers this season. He was the last man to be fresh on the score sheet, as we see that scissor kick from Neymar.
18 different scorers, but Mascherano wasn't one of them.
Restrained living legend. We've seen Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard bid farewell this season to the Premier Division in England. With respect to the two guys, they're in their autumn years, but Xavi this year at times has been just as effective, and at times he's been ahead of Iniesta on form in the midfield pecking order.
I'd have to agree with you, because I think, you know, not playing every game and having that rest. He had Achilles problems, what was it, 2.5, 3 seasons ago? Hence the reason they bought Cesc Fabregas at the time. And I think sometimes when you get a rest and you come back fully recharged, you see the benefits.
Xavi, Roberto, Batra, Vermaelen, eager to please on his debut. Matthew. Across the goal, Sydney with a header. Can Deportivo string something together? It's a desperate pass that by Juan.
Just give the ball away. They've only one man up front. They've no outlet, Rob, and they've got to keep the ball longer. They're giving too much possession to Barcelona, and that spells trouble. And it's a belated free kick. There's no advantage. Klaus Gomez gives the free kick to Barcelona. That'll be another problem. Foul coming in from Lucas Perez.
It's a grand distance out, but when you're the champions and you're leading 1-0 and it's a party atmosphere, you can try anything. Of course, it's a contrast to the tension elsewhere. Valencia, last time we heard, were level on points with Sevilla in the table, but we have a goal in the Almeria-Valencia game. Almeria took the lead early in this game, but Valencia have just had a corner kick routine, and at the head of the queue was Otamendi, making it Almeria 1, Valencia 1.
Well, he's so brave and strong and attacks the ball at the near post, but that's what you want if you've got a centre forward or centre half up there attacking the ball.
That's good, isn't it, for Deportivo La Coruña, because Almeria are now on 33 points. Deportivo on 34, Granada and Eibar, as things stand, both on 35 points. Eibar leading against Cordoba by 2-0. Meanwhile, at the top of the table, we'll discount Real and Barca from our table there. Atletico aiming for third place again. They've been on a run recently where they haven't been winning games. That won't please Simeone. Valencia just a point ahead of Sevilla, who are currently drawing against Malaga at La Rosaleda. Picked up by Laure. Dominguez back. They're really struggling here, Deportivo La Coruña. Team bereft of confidence. The first thing that Victor said when he came into the change room to take charge of the club, where he's a great player, was we have to change the pessimism, the mindset of the players.
He's right. Winning is a habit. It's a good habit to get into, but losing's also a habit, and I just feel if you're not scoring goals, you're not going to win matches.
Athletic Bilbao are now leading 2-0 at home against Villarreal.
That's cruising before next week's cup final here at the Nou Camp.
Athletic as well, that's going to move them on to 55 points, creating a bit of a gap between themselves and Malaga, who are chasing a Europa League spot next season. Offside Adriano.
It's another tight one, Rob, isn't it? It's the ball struck.
It's razor sharp, the systems on this near side.
Marginal, but linesman's in a better position than we are. You've got to give him the benefit of the doubt.
2 offsides, one of them cancelling out Lionel Messi thought was his second goal of the game. Arms guard flag stays down. It's an awkward challenge there from Matthew on Lowry. Doesn't appeal. Neymar to Pedro. Xavi. Over half an hour gone. He's had plenty of touches of the ball, made countless passes. Hasn't yet given the ball away. It's a masterclass on his Liga farewell. Lionel Messi. Sergio Roberto. Barcelona in many ways treating it like a training session, but those who are fortunate enough to ever see Barcelona train with their own eyes will realise that every training session is high tempo. Deportivo, they don't want to be merely sparring partners, or they'll be knocked out.
The thing is, Rob, whenever they knock ball forward, there's only one man up front, Lucas Perez, then trying to make the ball stick. It's nearly impossible for him. The service isn't great. He's losing possession, and Barcelona pick up the ball and go on another attack.
Deportivo in desperate need of a goal. They haven't scored one in the last 4 away days at the Camp Nou. It's possible, of course, for Deportivo to lose the game and to stay in the top flight, but really they don't want to be depending on the misfortune of the other clubs who start the day below them, Eibar and Almeria.
I just don't see Eibar losing, Rob. 2 goals up against Cordoba. Cordoba's nothing to play for.
Jerry, you're a visionary, because news is coming in from Eibar that they have scored a 3rd goal.
Wow.
Against Cordoba. Nice football as well. They're playing with a smile on their face in Barcelona colours.
Oh, goodness.
And it was Kappa who scored the 3rd goal. And he's digging that escape tunnel from the relegation zone. Meanwhile, Deportivo La Coruña here at the Camp Nou are digging themselves deeper and deeper.
Surge forward for Thomas Vermaelen. And Fabrizio's trying to get a little bit of oomph in his teammates and get a bit of confidence, but it's difficult when you've not scored in your last 4 away games. And look at that now.
Well, the thing is, if Deport got an equalising goal, as you, I'm sure, are well aware in Spain, it goes on their head-to-head results, and Deportivo have the upper hand against Eibar. They have beaten them twice this season, so if they finished on the same number of points, 35, then Deport would stay up.
But Canellia went down very awkwardly there, Rob. Looks like he's hurt his shoulder, could have dislocated it, and that's not nice to see. Total accident, certainly for me. Adriano was more forceful and positive when he attacked the ball.
Canellia is one of the many players that they've been lacking this season. He's only started 1 game since the winter months. Well, there's Xavi Cap.
He could pass the ball, that man.
The number 6 shirt, synonymous with the now Barcelona captain. Earlier in his career, he was number 20 and number 16. You feel the pain when you're in the position of Deportivo La Coruña. Alberto Canello was an important player when they were promoted last season.
This is it. You can see he goes in half-heartedly. Look at the way he falls, really awkwardly there. Canella, I think, has got a problem.
As we have a break here and Canella is receiving treatment, we can bring you another goal, and this is a vital one as well for the teams at the top and the bottom. Valencia chasing fourth place, behind again. The old man Soriano has scored the second for Almeria. That puts them also on 35 points along with Eibar. Granada, of course, who are the other team down in the equation, are at home against Atletico Madrid, and Granada are currently drawing 0-0 in that game. And that's going to be dangerous for them, because the fact they're drawing 0-0 puts them down in the bottom three on the head-to-heads.
That's not good for Canella, Rob.
Does change things at the top of the table as well, because remember, Valencia are level on points with Sevilla. They're just about hanging on to fourth place on the head-to-heads. Sevilla desperately in need of a goal against Malaga on the Costa del Sol. There is a game later on, by the way. Of course, it's Real Madrid. They're playing against Getafe in a 7:30 start UK time. Nothing on that game. Well, Cristiano Ronaldo may disagree, because he hopes to put himself further ahead of Lionel Messi in the scoring charts. But Messi is the man who's laid down the market here at the Camp Nou. Scored one, and had one that what appeared to be wrongfully disallowed. The supporters of Barcelona sympathetic to the fullback Canella as he disappears, and it's Menjanin who comes on. He's a midfield player, Haris Menjanin, the Bosnian international.
He scores a goal or two and they need a goal, and I think that's a positive move from Victor Sanchez.
He's down to his bare bones. He doesn't have too many options. Actually, before the Barca have used 22 players before the game. They've used 27 this season. Neymar keeps his balance, little back flick, and onto it in a flash. Fabricio.
Lovely ball from Messi, and almost worked out for Rafinha.
Neymar. Now Bartra. Many quarters Luis Enrique hasn't been given the full credit for developing this Barcelona team this season, but when you look around you realise that the likes of Sergio Roberto has been given more playing time this season. He's blooded Bartra as well. Rafinha, who we had with him at Celta de Vigo last season, has been a more prominent player. Of course, another one coming through the ranks today, Jordi Masip, the goalkeeper, who's very highly rated at the club, despite them signing two new keepers in Claudio Bravo and Ter Stegen last summer. He unfortunately picked up an injury, otherwise I think he may have got a little bit more time in the Copa del Rey. Ter Stegen, of course, he's got to make his La Liga debut. Can have a Champions League medal before he's played in La Liga.
Yep.
Organisation, Lopo leaving the ball. Mangione brings some inspiration to Deportivo. Size of clubs, I mean, Depol were the money men decade or so ago, back in 2000. Only Real Madrid spent more money than them in the transfer market. Now they deal in loan players, free signings, free agents. 11 players have been signed on loan this season. 4 players recruited on free transfers. Matthew gets in the way, and a comfortable catch for Messi.
I remember the good old days of the Super Depot with Jalminha and Fran, Diego Tristan, Roy Mackay, Rivaldo, Donato, Mara Silva. The list goes on, Rob.
Messi, I know he plays for Barca. He was here on the ball. They've had their financial problems over the years. They had a debt of around 160 million euros at one time. For many years they were creating an operating profit that just lived beyond their means. Doesn't help that they have been the yo-yo club. Relegated 2013, promoted 2012, relegated 2013 again, promoted 2014. Been involved in relegation and promotion every year since 2011. Here is Neymar, toe-to-toe with the defenders. None of them can catch him. On to Xavi. Xavi! Oh! Almost a farewell goal.
Into the deflection. Super run from Neymar. Tees it up nicely for Xavi. Let's have a look. Who does it hit? It does. Takes a deflection off the defender, Sydney.
Xavi, the corner taker. After throwing himself at it. Messi. Now Neymar. Put away by Lowry, who has come into the left-back position as part of the Deportivo defensive reshuffle. Benjamin calling possession by Bartra. Suspiciously offside against Lucas Perez.
It looked too good to be true, didn't it? Lucas Perez was hoping the flag wouldn't go up and the whistle wouldn't blow. But let's have a look, see. Well, it's another tight one.
Closer than it looked.
Yeah, it does.
Matthew. To the final minute of the first half. Doom and gloom for Deportivo La Coruña. Celebration time for Barcelona. These fans have come here, yes, to see the football, but also the spectacle of Xavi lifting the trophy, and then quite a carnival of his career at the end of the game, which has been planned meticulously by the event staff at the Camp Nou. We saw it last week with Steven Gerrard at Anfield, where for Liverpool at least the celebrations were far more memorable than the defeat. No chance of a Barcelona defeat at the moment then. They're playing full throttle against Deportivo La Coruña.
Well, you can see there he's just offside. It's the right decision.
Xavi readjusting himself is Neymar. Rafinha. Xavi. Messi. Sergio Roberto, the apprentice, learning from the master Xavi. One final time. That Xavi is largely irreplaceable. He came in when Guardiola was at the end of his days at Barcelona, but there's no similar star player at Barca, despite the attempts to school players like that. But a slightly different approach. Rakitic, of course, has been one of the heirs to the midfield crown. He's kept himself in glory as the games have progressed this season. Xavi's one of a kind. Choose header. Sydney for Deportivo. Caballero. It's an achievement at the moment for Deportivo if they can get the ball to the halfway line. Salomao. What's the run? This is Lucas Perez. Still that lifeline for Deportivo La Coruña.
Good run.
As Perez charges on, puts it in. Oh, and it was very close.
It was Caballero at the near post. Rob sticks his leg out, and you know, for all the dominance of Barcelona, it's only 1-0, and he just gets in front of Adriano. He sticks his foot out, toe poking, almost a surprise. That would have been a nice surprise at the start of half-time.
To half-time, we'll bring in another goal here. The game's down at the bottom of the table here. Villarreal were leading against Valencia. It's 2-2 in that game now. Neymar. Messi plays it back.
See, that's a wee bit of overplaying for me. There's two opportunities to get a strike at goal with Messi and Neymar, and I suppose they are in a little bit of party mode.
Leaves it to the goalkeeper, Fabricio. I can only assume it was a very loud call from the giant keeper. If Depor could get the draw, given the permutations of the head-to-heads, there's still a chance that they can stay in the top flight. Barcelona turning on the style. Lionel Messi scoring in all games his 55th goal of the season, his 55th game of the season. He's enjoying life, though of course there's still a couple of cup finals for him to go through this season. But for Deportivo, they have 45 minutes to fight for their lives in La Liga. Half-time, it's Barcelona 1, Deportivo 0.
Yes, Luis Enrique made 9 changes going into this game, and you'd have thought it would have given Depor some hope. They are losing, but they are just 1 goal away from staying up as it stands. The thoughts of Guillem and Geisger to come, where Barca lead 1-0 thanks to a 42nd league goal this season from Lionel Messi. Xavi's happy in his last La Liga match at Barca, but it's not the result that Depor are looking for to survive.